Hey there. It's me, Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access, link in the comment, thanks. The girls were 22 months old now, and certainly fit the name of toddler as they toddled all over the living room on strengthening legs. Of course, we went through the normal rituals of cuddling each baby as we freed them from their car seats. Little Crystal was damp, so I took her to the desk in the study and changed her diaper before returning to the living room where Mom and Carol were making a fuss over little Sharon. The time passed quickly and I didn't realize what time it was until I heard the chime indicating that the gate had been opened again. We were only expecting Oliver, so I walked out front to meet him. If it had been anyone that was not scheduled to be there, the guard would have phoned before opening the gate. Oliver drove up in a brand new, red, Mercedes. "Oliver, it's beautiful," I said as he got out of the car. "So are you." "Hi, Crystal." "Hi, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you brought your appetite. Mrs. McGuire has been working for 2 days on this meal." "Great, I'm starving." "Wow, this is some place you have here." Perhaps I should say palace instead of place. It's become home. I told you about its history, now come on in and I'll give you the $5 tour. I held out my hand and Oliver took it, then I led him inside. I took him to the living room first to say hi to everyone, and then I gave him a tour of the downstairs. In each room, he whistled. When we had visited each room, I took him upstairs and showed him the bedrooms. In my bedroom, he said, "My God, Crystal, this is almost as large as my entire house." I laughed. I guess that Miss LaBar liked her space. It's large enough to jog in, though. Are all the bedrooms this large? No, this is the largest, but they're all very large. Come on, I'll show you. After we had toured the entire second floor, we went back downstairs and out into the backyard. Wow, you have an outdoor pool also? That is a pool, isn't it? Or is it a lake? And look at this patio. How many parties have you had out here? No parties. Just a couple of small family meals. What? You're not doing any entertaining? No. I'm not into the party scene. This is just my retreat away from the business. If I have to be a prisoner, I'm going to have a comfortable jail. Jail? Prisoner? What are you talking about? I told you about getting attacked by fans in the mall back home. But that was just one lone incident. Are you still in hiding because of that? Yes. If that can happen in my own hometown, I can just imagine what can happen out here. Oh, it's different out here. People are used to seeing showbiz types. Half the people in this area either work in the biz or are married or related to someone who does. It's only the tourists that you have to watch out for. You have a bodyguard now. That should allow you to go anywhere. I still go out a little. I went shopping on Rodeo Drive a few months ago with my sister and a couple of friends, but I mean things like going to the beach or to an amusement park. I can't go for a walk along a boardwalk or go to the zoo. Sure you can. You just haven't tried. Change your hair from the way that you normally wear it, put on your sunglasses, and deny who you are if anyone asks. Keep your bodyguard close but don't act fearful. Hey, you won't know unless you try. What's that building back there? That's the stable, and the garages are over there. Stable? Do you have horses? Not yet. We just had the building fixed up. We're going to get some horses in the very near future now that the fields are shaping up. I love riding. I hope that you'll invite me back when you get the horses. Of course. I'd love to have you come back to do some riding. How do you take care of all this? We have a farmhand to take care of the land away from the house, a gardener that works during the week to care for the grounds right around the house, a pool maintenance company that cleans and maintains the pools, and 2 cleaning people who work with Mrs. McGuire to maintain the inside of the house. Then there are 2 security guards and my personal bodyguard. Wow. Where are they all? I haven't seen anyone. The 2 maids, pool people, and gardener are all off today because of the holiday. George, our farmhand, is probably around somewhere because he lives here, but he's off today also. One of the security guards is working in the security room. He's the one that opened the gate for you, and I'm not sure who's on duty, but he's probably watching us right now on one of the monitors. The other is off until his shift starts. Des likes to work out in the side yard next to the servants' wing, so he's probably over there, or in the room in the servants' wing that we turned into a small gym. The side yard is fenced off for the use of the staff. Mrs. McGuire can usually be found in the kitchen. The estate is so big that there can be a lot of people around even when you don't see anyone. Mom came out of the house to tell us that dinner was ready, so we walked back inside. The table in the dining room was all set and we took our seats. Mom and Mrs. McGuire were busy carrying things in from the kitchen. The twins had already been put into the high chairs Sharon had brought with her, and they were watching all the activity with interest. I sat next to one of the girls so that I could help with her feeding. Mom had cut the turkey in the kitchen, so we were all ready to eat once all the food had been brought out. As I had done last Thanksgiving, I asked Mrs. McGuire to join us. Sharon and I fixed a little food for the babies before taking our own. Both girls loved the cranberry sauce and the stuffing, and then played with the finely cut turkey and mushrooms as we ate. With 3 show business people at the table, plus 1 college student about to enter the business, it was inevitable that most of the talk would be about our work. Oliver was finished with the series for the year, and we learned about the movie that Sharon's boyfriend Roy was doing. I told them about the movie that I was working on, and that it was almost completed. "What's your next flick, Cries?" Sharon asked. "Nothing scheduled. I read a couple of scripts, but Mr. Daniels hasn't contacted me. I'm just looking forward to having a month or 2 off. If I know you, and I do, you'll be climbing the walls after a couple of weeks." "Maybe," I said, "but I don't think so. I've got the pool, some books that I've wanted to read, and we just decided to get some horses. I think that I'll have enough to do, and if I sign to do a new picture, I'll also have a script to start working with." "Horses? You didn't tell me about that. I told you that I was considering it since I bought this house." "Yeah, but you never really, actually, set a timetable. We just decided at breakfast this morning." "What kind will you be getting?" "I don't know much about them. I've only been riding a few times. We're going to ask George to help. I have a couple of good friends who can help if George doesn't know horses." "Stunt people?" "People who train horses for show business work." "Okay, thanks. I'll let you know after we speak to George." Sharon and I spent part of the mealtime feeding the twins, as we participated in the conversation about movies, television shows, and people that we knew in the business. When the meal was over, everyone complimented Mrs. McGuire's culinary skills. Mrs. McGuire, Mom, and Carol carried the leftovers and the dishes into the kitchen while Sharon and I cleaned up the babies. After the table had been cleaned, Mom and Mrs. McGuire brought out the desserts. No one was really hungry, but we picked at small pieces of pumpkin or apple pie as we drank our tea. We sat at the dining table for quite a while as we conversed, then we moved outside to the patio. The sun was shining brightly and it was a warm day, a perfect day for sharing with family and friends. We enjoyed a light dinner of leftovers after the sun went down, and then I helped Sharon prepare the twins for the trip home. Once the car carriers were secured on the back seat, Sharon and I hugged and she left for home. Oliver had come out to help and we stayed outside to walk around and talk. It was still very warm outside, even though the sun had set. Thanks for a great Thanksgiving, Crystal. It's the best one that I've had in years. I usually wind up at Denny's, or some other restaurant eating alone. I'm glad you could come. We enjoyed having you here with us today. I hope that you'll invite me again. Of course. You have a standing invitation for holiday dinners. Thank you. As I've told you before, I feel very comfortable with your family. They've always made me feel welcome. You are welcome. You've been a good friend since we first worked together on your series, and I enjoy your company. The mood had gotten a little heavy, so I tried to lighten it with, and I can't think of anybody that I'd rather have holding my hand when I failed to get an Academy Award. Oliver laughed. They can't keep passing you up every year. If you get nominated again this year, it will probably be a record for Best Actress nominations in consecutive years. No, there have been quite a few. Meryl Streep, Deborah Kerr, and Ingrid Bergman each had nominations in 3 successive years. Elizabeth Taylor had 4 successive nominations, and Bette Davis and Greer Garson each had 5 successive years. Greta Garbo and Norma Shearer were each nominated for 2 different pictures in 1929, and Janet Gaynor was nominated for 3 different pictures in 1928. How do you remember all that stuff? I don't know. I just have one of those kinds of memory, I guess. Things just stick when I read them. It really helps when I have to memorize lines. I wish that I could do that. I have to go over and over and over the script to get my lines down. I'm just lucky, I guess. Have you ever been on stage? No way. I can work in front of cameras, or in front of a small television audience, but I don't think that I could do it in front of an entire theater full of people. It's actually easier if you've got your part down. Everyone is so practiced that the show just flows. And the audience response at the end can be electrifying. Thanks, but I'll stick to television or movies. Well, we should all go with what we're comfortable. We had walked around the entire house and wound up back in the front next to Oliver's new car. You said that you're not working in January, right? Yes, I told Mr. Daniels that I wanted a month off. How about taking a trip with me? What kind of a trip? A vacation. We could go to Hawaii, or even Australia. Well, I don't think it would be a good idea. I've managed to escape from the attention of the tabloids by keeping an ultra-low profile. I know. I've seen articles calling you the reclusive princess, Princess Enigma, and the Garbo of the new millennium. You can't keep hiding out forever. You have to get out and live. I want to, but I'm afraid to. There are probably paparazzi driving past the estate every day, trying to figure out how to get pictures. I've seen a number of planes circling overhead. They must be taking pictures of the estate, trying to get a few candid pictures of me doing something that they can write about. It goes with the territory. Just let them take their pictures. As long as you're not doing anything wrong, and they're not in your face, it's good publicity. Now you sound like Jennifer, my publicist. She says that I actually invite more attention from the press because I'm trying to avoid it. Sounds logical. By hiding, you become a mystery woman, like Garbo. So, how about that trip? We could leave the week after the start of the new year. I can't. It would start a feeding frenzy in the media. Before the first day was over, they'd be reporting that we were secretly married or something. Would that be so bad? Oliver said. From the way that he asked, I realized my last statement had hurt him. No. You know that you're one of my best friends. I just don't want them saying things about us that are untrue. It might strain our relationship, and once rumors get started, they're difficult to stop. I had been leaning against Oliver's car, with my back against the passenger door. Oliver moved in close and gently took hold of my upper arms. They can't say anything about us that would hurt our relationship because we know that most of what they print is pure fabrication. And we can easily ensure that they don't make up any lies. How? Simple, we get married. I was sure that I hadn't heard him correctly. All I could do was look up at him and stutter, what? I'm asking you to marry me. I love you and I want to live with you for the rest of my life. I just stood there with Oliver holding onto my arms, and my mouth slightly agape. Oliver released my arms and leaned over, trapping me against the car with the weight of his body, as he kissed me in a long, passionate kiss. This was no stage kiss, and I was still so shocked that I didn't know how to respond, so as Oliver's tongue pushed into my mouth and began exploring, I reacted as I always had when kissed by a male partner. I put my arms around his neck. I was reacting to his passion in an effort to prolong the kiss because I needed time to think. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access. Link in the comment. Thanks.